and today I would like to talk about how we should create truly decentralized dApps and the road to create that things. So the first things I would like to tell you a small secret that is happening right now, and the truth is most dApps are not truly decentralized. That is a fact. And today I would like to show how we believe that the dApps are not truly decentralized. So mainly, this schema is a good example of the things that are happening right now. Imagine that you have a cool DeFi application. You usually are going to have a URL that point to a server. So you need to use a DNS that is a centralized point of failure or not, depends. And you are going to some people are using service provider VPS like Amazon or Azure or other ones to provide this service. And at the end, your dApp is using Infura to broadcast the transaction to the network. So in this schema, the only decentralized part is the infrastructure that Infura is using. Is Ethereum is decentralized because we are creating that kind of tool to make decentralized transaction and all this stuff. But as you can see, we are using several centralized points, and we believe that since this is a most convenient way to do it, we need to find another way to do the things, or at least have an alternative of this infrastructure. So recently, in this winter, we make a kind of study about the status of the network using the development of EG from Infura. So we modified the scraper, an open source scraper that is published on GitHub. And we realized that more than the 70% of the nodes are in VPS. So that means that the control of our network right now is in the hands of centralized service provided. And we believe that this is not the purpose of this technology. Well, oh, sorry, but I think this is not very good. So I think I'm going to switch to the PDF. Sorry. Yeah, I think I can do it. Yeah, better now. Sorry. So since we are using centralized service providers to give access to these applications, we are losing all the benefits of decentralized technologies. At the end, I don't know if you saw sorry. Thank you so much. Yeah. I don't know if you saw the talks from the last talk yesterday about privacy from Edward Snowden and Richard Stallman, but they focus on privacy and the importance of that. And with these decentralized technologies, we want to create a new internet in which privacy is one of the most important parts, and anonymity. And since we are still using centralized service providers, we are losing these things. So it doesn't matter if you want to use centralized services, but you need to have an alternative to this. Other thing is, since we are using centralized service providers to provide this service to the final user, we have a single point of failure, an attack point, and all of those stuff. And other strange thing is, since we are creating decentralized application, why we need to follow three-party terms and conditions has no sense, since we are trying to create something truly centralized. So if we want to create a new internet, if we want to have to use the full potential of this kind of technologies, we need to decentralize the infrastructure layer. For us, it's so important the technology behind the website, like the communication channel, and that is why DappNode tried to solve this problem. So with DappNode, we don't want to solve this problem. We want to at least propose an alternative to find another way to do the things, to propose people another way to distribute decentralized webs. So at the end, DappNode is just an open source software that wants to be your gateway to decentralized web and decentralized technologies, and it's based on three mainly points. We wanted to create a modular system. So the idea is to create infrastructure layer in which all the projects can rely and use and create on top of that his structure. We want to create a system that is easy to deploy and maintain. A system in which you click install and you have all the nodes running, because we believe that for mass adoption, we need to create this kind of tools. And even if you are a DevOps, you don't want to spend time trying to understand why to deploy a node. At the end, you want to spend your time in development, not just in deployment. And finally, we want to provide a system in which you can share the resource that your system have with other people, with other projects and community. So the idea is kind of create a peer-to-peer economy or create an incentivization layer and be able to create communities around projects and new peer-to-peer economy. So this is our vision in general. We want to create a platform for hosting uncensorable, private, and decentralized application. Provide a way, easy way for users to access to decentralized technologies. Be focused on decentralization from the top to the bottom, and at the same time provide a way to connect the users and the projects, a way to connect in a way in which for us has more sense that if you want to host your nodes in a server, I think it's better if you are paying to the user and the people that is supporting your project, not to the people that have a big number of servers. So at the end, you are trying to return this incentivization to the people that are using your project. And finally, we want to create a federation and redundant network to provide a way to be resilient and avoid attacks and censorship. So now I want to try to explain you how we solve or how we try to solve these problems using DappNode. So as we can see in this slide, this is the usual way to access to a normal centralized website. You go to Amazon or other websites. So for that you need to query a DNS public server. So that is the first centralization point, and after that you are going to go to a centralized service provider. This is the web tool, right? So this is the way that we understand a decentralized website. Mainly the idea is use ENS to point to an IPFS hash or a song hash. I mean, every or other kind of decentralized storage. And the idea is we want the people to link a ENS address to the hash. Since we are using this infrastructure, we can provide a way in which you can access to the content in your own home without accessing to another third-party server to get the content of the website. So in DappNode, we have several core packages that allow to provide this technology. In general, the idea is we have an internal DNS resolver that when you try to access a .s domain, we query the Ethereum blockchain to get the ENS hash that correspond to the name of the website, and internally we get the website from IPFS and show you in a transparent way in your browser. So at the end, all the things are happening in your own server. So you take care of your data and your privacy. So we added 3 months ago this new standard about how to publish this website, and we are using it. So now if you have a DappNode, you can go to Decentralized and you will get the content in a decentralized manner. Another problem that we are trying to solve is not solved yet. Is about the dynamic IPs. DappNode is think to be to run in the home of the people, and a lot of people have dynamic IPs. That is a problem for us because if you have a dynamic IP, the only way to access to your home is using a DNS. Right now we build a kind of dynamic DNS using identities and all the stuff, but this is just temporal solution. We are going to build decentralized discovery mechanisms. So the idea is mainly to have a peer-to-peer network in which you can publish, well, the DappNode can publish its identity with the IP, and we want to modify the VPN clients. So VPN clients. So the idea is that your VPN client can access to your service without querying other servers that is peer-to-peer network. So for us, this is the way to discover service in a decentralized manner without using DNS. Another problem that we faced this last year is how to create a decentralized packet manager. So mainly we want to distribute packets. So the system DappNode is modular because we want be able to support a lot of nodes and other projects. We are a blockchain agnostic. It's just we are a platform in which every project should run, and because of that, we want to provide a way to be able to install this application in a decentralized manner. So to solve this problem, we use mainly IPFS and Swarm and the smart contracts of Aragon and ENS. Mainly the idea is if you want to create a DappNode package, you need to create a Docker image and upload it to IPFS, and with that you get a hash. With that hash, we create a manifest that we again upload to IPFS and publish on a smart contract of Aragon. Be able to have a version control, a repository on chain. Obviously, it's governed by a DAO. It's mainly the idea. So, well, I don't know if I can switch to the other one because okay, let's see if it's working here. All this process of publishing packets. Okay, here. I think. Let's see. Oh, sorry. I don't know if it's gonna work. The GIF about, well, we have an SDK to make easy all this process of create packages, publish on IPFS and all this stuff. So in general, the difficulty of create a package for DappNode is just a matter of create a Docker image and run several commands that allow you to publish on IPFS, get the hash transaction, and just it's a matter of seconds to publish a packet on mainnet. And since you can publish a packet on this way, people can start to install it on his home at the moment that you publish in a decentralized manner. You can share the IPFS hash so that people can install it, and no one can block you. No one can censor your package. Mainly, that is the idea behind that. If I go back again, or wait, well, yeah. Mainly, the magic of this is we have a decentralized repository of distribution packet that allow you to install a package in a decentralized manner in 30 seconds. As you can see, with a link with an IPFS hash and the ENS address, just by clicking 2 times install, you can get a Goerli test network running on your home. And for developers, for DevOps, this is very important because you forget about maintaining that node, about everything, and you have your own architecture working on your home. So, okay, let's move again to the PDF. Yeah, so right now we are creating our own decentralized application ecosystem. So we have several packages right now published on our DappNode store, although we are not selling anything, just it's like a place. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. But well, we are trying to create a repository of applications. So we are publishing a new application on that DappNode store, and now we are starting publishing community packets that people are developing and are using the SDK. So, for example, people from La Colmena want to have the Cosmos packet be published on DappNode, and they did it. They use the SDK, and we publish on our DappNode store, and other packages like Pocket Network or packages that have sense, that give value to the user. We are start publishing in this decentralized. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. this one, okay? So this is the DappNode store, and yeah, mainly the idea is in this place you can publish packages and the people can install it and can update it, and yeah, we have our own packages, and we are start to publishing community packets. So mainly the idea is to have self-maintained packages by the DappNode Association and have packages managed by the community. So this is the fully centralized app flow that we expect in the future. So the idea is that the people have a DappNode at his home, and the idea is to create a community around the DappNode, so you can share your information and your DappNode with your family and friends. It's just create a small communities around like a server, although it's not the best name for this. And the idea is that all the dApps use this decentralized point to access to all decentralized technology. Use your own node for broadcast your transaction and access to decentralized websites using the IPFS node that is running on your server. Mainly that is for us the way to create a truly decentralized application. So imagine, for example, I don't know if you know the mixer from Tornado Cash, but mainly for us have more sense that if you can run this website in your own home, have all the benefits of decentralized technologies. So, well, let's talk a little about our roadmap. Well, we added recently the backup functionality. We redesigned our use experience, although we need to improve a lot of, because we know that to achieve mass adoption of this kind of technology and more people using these applications, we need to make easy for them, and we know that that part is not easy. We are just testing out updates, so that means that if you opt in to be using updates, you can just forget about to maintain the node, and that allow you to be focused on the thing that you want to do, not in maintaining node in your home. We are going to try to create a kind of decentralized repo off-chain using Swarm technology, so that allow us to have less requirement to run this node. So mainly the idea is if you only want to install, for example, Monero, you don't need to use the ENS or all the stuff. So makes more efficient. Although the idea is if you want to use it, you can start to using. It's just to have another way to have a decentralized repo. We are going to work on decentralized dynamic DNS. That is one of the points for us more important to decentralize right now. And coming, we are going to add an identity in the DappNode. So mainly the idea is that the DappNode can publish its own identity in a peer-to-peer network. And with that, we want to create a DappNode federation. So it's like pull all the pieces together to create a community or a network of DappNodes that people. So that means, imagine that you lose your access to your server, or imagine that you are running a proof of stake coin on your server. You can trust on the server of your friends. So the idea is have a kind of backup system using the federations. We expect to add key management, because a lot of projects needs this key to be able to give a reward to the users. And since then, we believe that it's important that the DAM can manage these keys. And finally, we are thinking how to integrate the SGX application enclaves into the DappNode, since have a lot of sense. Since we are creating a decentralized hardware layer that start to using this technology to create distributed execution programs or oracles or these kind of things. Well, the project was supported by Ethereum Foundation. They give us a grant, Aragon, Ness, and Ethereum Community Fund too. Even Giveth, we have a campaign on Giveth, and all the people that are working at open source project know the problem of this kind of projects or free software projects is the sustainability. It's really hard to find a business model for this kind of projects. This is why we are going to start to try in the new formulas to get sustainability in the project, because mainly the idea of this project is to be a community project and make the project self-sustainable. And for that, we are experimenting, and in the coming months, we are be part of the Aragon Foundation Lab to try to find a ways to make the project sustainable in the future. So, as I told you, this is an open source project. You can install it in your home. You can download it from several servers or places, or you can buy a DappNode with the software pre-installed. For us, it doesn't matter if you want to install it, if you want to build it, or you want to buy it. But the idea is that you should put a DappNode to create this decentralized hardware layer for every project. So please join to our community, help us to create this decentralized hardware that we believe is very needed. Yeah, thank you all. Well, questions?
Thank you for the presentation. I have a question. You propose to solve the problem of package hosted in an NPM, which is a central managed repository. My question is, how can, for example, how can you prevent attacks such as the copay attack, where where an NPM package has been corrupted with malicious software and was sending private keys because copay was using this NPM package? You suggested some mechanism where people actually can verify the code in the decentralized repository, but yeah, how does it work? Do you expect people to check the code of any single update, or? Yeah,
well, I think indeed this is two questions. One thing is about open source software, and a problem that we have right now with open software. Open software doesn't mean that everything is verified for everyone. So right now we are seeing projects that have malware installed in open source software because it's impossible to check all the software. That is a fact. In our case, the thing that we propose is at the moment that you seal your packets, that you publish on IPFS with a hash, no one can modify that packet. And every time that you install it, you know that you are installing the exact version that the publisher made. So for us, obviously it's impossible to check every packet. The only thing that we provide is a way to be sure to shine packets that the hash that you are installing to your node is the same that the publisher wants. So mainly that is our approach.
Thanks for talk. How you are planning to replace MetaMask if you want truly decentralized app?
Well, right now, for example, right now we are supporting MetaMask. We don't want to remove MetaMask. We want the people to connect MetaMask to your own node at your home. That is our idea. I mean.
Okay, but if I'm on mobile phone, for example, or I'm like, I don't have my own node, like.
Yeah, well, ideally, we want all the people have a node. That is, we know that is going to be very hard or impossible even, but our idea is that the people that you trust, your family, you can share your access to your DappNode. And one of the core packages of the DappNode is a VPN access. So that means that just to a few clicks can have a VPN directly connection to your phone every time and everywhere. And mainly the idea is you have a connection, a VPN connection in your mobile phone, so you can start using your own node directly.
Okay, but in all the cases, you have to put your address manually to the MetaMask to start using it.
Not really. Okay, we have the internal DNS, so that means that all the packages that are running on DappNode have a well-known direction. So that means that when you connect to the VPN to connect your node to MetaMask, you only need to use fullnode.dappnode, and every people have the same address, but that address point to its own server because you are using your own VPN.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you for your talk. I have seen in your website that you have 3 different models that you can buy. What are the main difference between and the one model and the other. Maybe it depends of how the quantity of users that you have or another reasons.
Mainly the difference between the servers is the application that you want to run on that. I mean, you know, for running Ethereum, you need around 200 hard drives SSD. And if you want to run at the same time Bitcoin, you need to have more hard drives. For example, at my home right now, I'm running Bitcoin, Lightning, Monero, all the test network, a full node of Ethereum, and all this stuff. And for running all these services, you need a good hardware. But in the future, if we manage to have this off-chain repository, maybe we are planning to move to a small hardware like a Raspberry Pi, but that means that in Raspberry Pi you are only allowed to run maybe one project or two, not more than that. So it depends on your needs. If you want to run several applications, you need a big one, or if you only want to run Ethereum and test network, the small one is enough. At the end, depend on that. And if I mean, for us, it's even more convenient if the people just build it by itself. But the idea of selling hardware is just to make easy for people, to make a plug and play solution and make it more convenient. But for us, it's not a business model. It's just to make easy for people at the end.
And the request per second is not a bottleneck in the basic hardware, or
no, in general, in the case of Ethereum, the bottleneck is general the hard drives, the speed of the hard drives. The memory is enough, and the CPU too. In general, the project depends. I mean, if you are going to use projects like Storage that are using your bandwidth to share, maybe that bottleneck is the traffic. So that depends on the application. But right now, I think it's more important the hard drive speed than the CPU, and the RAM is quite important too. Depending on the project. At the end, it's by project thing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions? Cool. Thank you, Eduardo.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.